then walk by the rain, driven by the snow, drunk and dirty. Don't you know? And I'm willing. And I'm out on the highway late at night, see my pretty Alice, every headlight. Alice, Dallas Alice. I've been from Tucson to Tucumcari, to Hatchie to Tonopah, driven every kind of rig that's ever been made, driven the back roads.
I remember John Duffy's, I keep bringing him up because I learned everything from him, really. Including a little bit of cynicism about music business, but we won't go into that.
That's always good.
But he was a big believer in trying to do it live, and he had a rule. You would run a track 3 times, and if you didn't get it in those 3 that everybody was happy with, you went on to something else and came back to it later. You know? And that seemed to work out fairly well. Okay, let's do this tune 3 tracks through. And we do 3 complete tracks, and we think about it, and we think, oh, they're all terrible. Let's go and do the next track and come back to it tomorrow. It works that way too.
How did this album scene come together?
That's very interesting because when I was an intern at Walter Reed, before I went to Vietnam, I met Mike Aldridge. I'd met Ben at the University of Virginia because he was there, and we'd have picking sessions in Charlottesville while I was in medical school. And then we got together, and we would have a 1 night a week picking session when all of our wives would have an exercise class at night. They would all go together. We referred to them lovingly as the sorority sisters, and we would meet over at Ben's house, and we would go down in the basement and play, and just for fun. While I was in Vietnam, I think Ben and Mike started playing with another bluegrass band. And then when I was coming back to Walter Reed as a resident in Ear, Nose, and Throat, or by John Duffy used to call it Ear, Nose, and Wallet, I heard this rumor that this band was going to be put together with John Duffy, who was with the Country Gentlemen, and some of these guys that we would play with. And when I got there, we all had heard the same rumor. It was being started by a gentleman who was managing the Country Gentlemen at that time. And so we called up John, and he said, yeah, I've heard the same thing. We got together and called up.
You called John Duffy and heard the rumor about it?
Yeah, he had heard the same thing, because he knew the same guy. He was a mutual friend of all of ours, although we didn't know John Duffy very well. And he came over to my house one night, and we sat around and played, and he said, I think this is going to work. We just don't have a bass player. And so we called Tom Gray, and next thing you know, he said, I only have 2 rules for this band. He had become somewhat cynical about the music business when it was the Country Gentlemen days, because how little money they made and how hard they worked. But so he said, I only have 2 rules for this band. No big deals. But we're not going to play Rolling in My Sweet Baby's Arms over and over again.
Way down in the Blue Ridge Mountains, way down where the tall pines grow, lives my sweetheart of the mountains. She's my little Georgia Rose.